I think for me, the dream has always been New York City. I have always wanted to be in a large city and to see how far I could go. I think that I was always interested in writing. Um, I remember before I even knew how to write, I carried around a little journal and I just scribbled in it. And I made up stories. And I think that as soon as I was able to have the words, I was ready to go. There were stories that I wanted to tell, and in particular, it was my mom's story of how she came to the US. When I was in ninth grade, there was a project that one of my teachers had asked for. The requirements were to write a 2 to 3 page paper, or you could turn in an art project. And I ended up turning in a 14-page front and back paper with newspaper clippings about my mom coming to the US, about my grandma being in the news for her embroidery. And I remember I put it all in this binder and I turned it in, and he actually pulled me out of class, and I thought I was in trouble for going over the limit or writing too much. And he pulled me into the hallway and he looked at me and he said, "You need to turn this into a book." It was the first time that someone had ever believed in me that much. And he actually was getting emotional and he said, "Reading this was amazing and you need to do this. This is something that you can do and that you should do." And that really started me on the trajectory of thinking that writing could be a legitimate thing that I did and enjoyed, and I could actually tell people's stories in a way that affected other people. My internship in Wisconsin was a huge step for me. I was able to connect with the Hmong community there, really use my language skills in a way that I wasn't able to anywhere else, and primarily build trust with a community that didn't trust the local newspaper. They had been burned by news articles before, and they didn't feel like they had anyone at the newsroom that reflected them and who they were and could trust with their stories. There's often a phrase, I've heard throughout my entire career for journalism, which is to give a voice to the voiceless. These people aren't voiceless. They have voices, they're just not being listened to. And so one of the things I've really tried to do in my career is to sort of live by that. They're not voiceless. And why don't we start by listening to them, seeing how they want their story told, honoring the way they want to be represented, and include people from those communities we're trying to reach in our hiring practices and allowing them to grow and be mentored. As a woman in media, sometimes it's been hard to garner the respect as a journalist. Sometimes when you walk into a room, they treat you like you're a little girl. They treat you like you're a child. They don't respect sort of the questions that you ask or the job that you're doing, and it's really, really challenging to know that women are also paid less typically than their male counterparts for doing the same job. I'm Catherine Ellis, Communications Manager at KUER, and I'm a proud Next Gen Radio alum. The idea of diversity, equity, and inclusion in journalism is a huge talking point. If you're not already thinking about it in your news organization, you're already behind. As a woman of color, it gets extra hard because there are a lot of things, a lot of obstacles in the way in order for you to progress in your career. And I wish I could say that it's getting better. I think there's a lot of thoughtfulness going into it now, but that doesn't solve the problem. And I think unless organizations are willing to really invest in these people who haven't had the same opportunities and really mentor them to grow within the organization, They're going to have a hard time connecting with the communities that they want to, and honestly just pushing the industry forward. It can't just be a white male-dominated industry anymore. I think it's important to honor who you are and to not let anyone who may not understand who you are prevent you from doing what you'd like to be doing. There's already a lot of obstacles to face when you want to be a part of the journalism world. And then being any different from the status quo automatically makes that even more difficult. And what I would love to say to people starting out who feel like maybe they don't fit the mold is that that's a good thing. Because in order for journalism to succeed, there need to be some huge changes. And I think that not being afraid to be yourself and be authentic is the best thing you can do in this industry, because we need more diverse groups of people geographically, sexual orientation, race, religion, all of it. There needs to be a variety in order to be able to tell a wide variety of stories. I think fourth grade Catherine would be pretty impressed, but I wish I could tell her to just relax, because there are so many opportunities, so many different paths in life that you can take, and just because you start somewhere doesn't mean you'll end there, and goals and dreams will change, and being able to just stay connected with the thing that serves you, and for me that's storytelling.